The death of Enzo Ferrari in 1988 was followed by the controversial Ferrari 348. By the end of 1991, Luca di Montezemolo was promoted to Ferrari's president by Fiat's chairman Gianni Agnelli. Not happy to see where Ferrari had fallen, Luca di Montezemolo envisioned and started Ferrari's renaissance. By 1994, he was ready to unveil Ferrari's new two-seater mid-rear engine entry-level V8 with the Ferrari F355 Berlinetta and GTS targa top. The unitary chassis was steel pressed and fitted with an all-independent suspension blessed with a two-level electronic damping system. This damping solution included a normal and sport mode as seen on the 456 GT, while the ABS disc brakes were equipped with an on and off button to get the most fun out of your F355 on the track. It could be a little challenging at first for the untrained eye to realize that the F355 was based on the 348, but the result was so smartly done by Pininfarina that he only had to change a few vital design cues to make the F355 appear as a completely new model. The nose had a new smiley grille like the one on the 456 GT, with turning signals parking light at each side of it. Underneath them, extra driving lights were placed just above a split lower lip. The hood adorned the last rectangular pop-up headlights seen on the modern Ferrari, and the 5-spoke 18-inch magnesium wheel set was a welcome change over the propeller design found on the 348s. The two large side air intakes lost their horizontal slats and gave the F355 its own identity, unlike the 348 and its baby Testarossa image. Another engine air intake was lodged at the base of each flying buttress, which, with the panoramic vertical rear window, remained a favorite design trademark of entry-level Ferraris. The quote, targa top from the GTS could be placed behind the seats and was the only form of opening-air touring until the Spider version arrived. The wide bulging rear fenders were very sexy indeed, and the all-louvered engine lid ended with a pronounced rear spoiler lip. A thin mesh grille under it looked purposeful, but you could also opt for a full challenge grille mesh that allowed the engine bay to cool faster. The round tail lights were a better fit than on the previous 348 rectangle units, and the traditional quad exhaust pipe finished the rear with just above them a cut-out horizontal strip to work with the flat under tray, creating downforce at high speed. The dashboard was taken from the 348 with its square air vents and main binnacle, but the dials numbering changed from orange to white, and the center console disappeared to only reveal a little center pod with 3 small dials encased in it. The radio sat just underneath it, and finally the tunnel console housed bespoke switches including the adjustable dampers, fog lights and door lock switches. These proper Ferrari switches were first introduced on the 456, and let's say it, this was about time on such a prestigious car manufacturers. Bye bye Fiat Spartzbeans components. Just below them, and still on the tunnel console, was the 6-speed exposed metal gear lever gate with a all-metal gear and lever knob. Below the gate you could find the AC heater control unit and mirror control as well. The gearbox gained a ratio, but it was also more docile to use than previous units, even when cold, and definitely added to the F355 practicality only experienced before on the 456 GT. The mid-rear quad-cam 3.5-liter or 213 cubic-inch V8 engine was longitudinally placed, but instead of adorning 4 valves per cylinder, he had 5 valves per cylinder, thus giving the F355 its nomenclature with a 3.5-liter and 5 valves per cylinder motor. This last one developed a whopping 380 PS or 375 horsepower at a high revving 8,250 RPM. This figure gave the F355 the title of the highest power output engine in the world per liter and the highest revs with 109 horsepower per liter or per 61 cubic inch. From a standstill, the Ferrari F355 could surge to 62 miles per hour in 4.6 seconds, while the top speed was 183 miles per hour or 295 km per hour. With far better cornering abilities, these performances were higher than the previous V12 flagship, which was the F512 M or last Testarossa. This was quite a feat for a new entry-level Ferrari. In 1995, the sublime F355 Spider was introduced with an electric soft top, and like the 348 Spider and Mondial Cabriolet, the rear top mimicked the Berlinetta's rear buttresses and could be covered under a soft top cover when down. Needless to say that the F355 Spider was a great international success, and who wouldn't want to hear a 109 horsepower per liter V8 screaming all the way up to past 8000 RPM under a tunnel, or simply having the wind in his or her hair in a Ferrari for that matter. For 1997, the F355 gained a Formula 1 inspired sequential gearbox with two pedal shifters behind the steering wheel. Now called the Ferrari 355 F1, no F please, this early technology was a bit jerky, slow and unreliable, with needed clutch repairs as often as every 8,000 miles if used extensively in town. In 1999, the last year of production, Ferrari produced a limited series of just 100 F355 Serie Fiorano. This last batch of F355s were all Spiders aside from a couple and had a wider track, stiffer and lower suspensions, Alcantara on the steering wheel for better grip, and the Challenge Mesh rear grille. Inside, a plethora of carbon fiber accents helped to make you feel that much more special. The Ferrari F355 was an immense commercial success for Ferrari, with 11,273 cars sold in 5 years only. But this success is easy to justify with the F355's good looks, performance, reliability, handling at the limits for the Berlinetta, and everyday usability never seen on the previous Ferrari 348. Welcome back to the modern world.